Hello and welcome to our discussion about central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, and their potential impact on the upcoming US presidential election. While most Americans are not familiar with CBDCs, these digital forms of national currencies issued by a country's central bank have become a hot topic among potential presidential candidates. In this video, we will explore why this issue has become a talking point for some candidates, and what the potential impact of their stance could be. First, let's start with the basics. CBDCs are digital forms of national currencies that are issued by a country's central bank. China has already launched its own digital yuan, and more than 100 countries are exploring CBDCs. However, the United States Federal Reserve has plans to issue a digital dollar through its FedNow program in July of 2023. Despite this, potential presidential candidates are already taking a strong stance against CBDCs, with some even proposing legislation to ban their use. Opponents of CBDCs argue that they could be used by governments to monitor and even control citizen transactions. They also suggest that a CBDC could be designed to restrict purchases of certain items, such as gas or firearms. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, a likely Republican contender, has proposed legislation to ban the use of CBDCs in his state. He has called the Biden administration's efforts to introduce a CBDC a form of surveillance and control. DeSantis is not alone in his opposition to CBDCs. Other potential presidential candidates, such as Democrat Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Republican Vivek Ramaswamy, have also voiced their concerns. While Kennedy's statement demonstrates that anti-CBDC sentiment is not a purely partisan issue, it does appear to be an increasingly popular Republican talking point. So why are people getting so worked up about CBDCs now? One reason is China. China's digital yuan is the most visible example of a CBDC, and opponents of CBDCs often cite it as an example of how a government can use a digital currency to control its citizens. However, it is important to note that a theoretical digital dollar would be unlikely to be identical to a digital yuan. Another reason for the opposition to CBDCs is privacy concerns. The current US position is to give more thought to the idea of issuing a digital dollar, largely because of privacy concerns. The Federal Reserve has emphasized that it would only issue a CBDC with the support of the executive branch and Congress, and more broadly the public. However, opponents of CBDCs remain skeptical, and some have suggested that the Federal Reserve's cautious approach is simply a way to avoid controversy. Despite the opposition to CBDCs, it is hard to imagine this issue becoming a central issue in the 2024 presidential campaign cycle. However, the political debate could have a discernible effect on research and innovation around CBDCs. While experimentation and innovation is happening around CBDCs with US companies, the sharing of the results of that experimentation may be limited and slowed in a politically divisive environment. In conclusion, while CBDCs are not yet widely understood or used, their potential impact on the financial system has already become a political issue. Whether or not CBDCs become a central issue in the upcoming presidential election, the debate around them will likely continue, and their development and adoption will be an important issue for policymakers and financial institutions alike. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.